Hello, my dear students. I hope all of you are happy and healthy. In the previous video session, I was preparing you to listen to the short story Toba Singh. Today, let's discuss about the author of the story, Saadat Hasan Manto. Saadat Hasan Manto was an Indo-Pakistani author, a journalist and a writer. He began his literary career translating Victor Hugo's The Last Day of a Condemned Man. During his graduation days itself, he started writing 22 collections of short stories, a novel, and a series of radio plays won him remarkable reputation among the short story writers of Indian subcontinent. Manto believes writers should not unveil the hypocrisies of society just for the sake of decorum. His short stories are noted for their realistic treatment of the appalling realities of life. And Toba Singh is no exception. In 1948, Saadat Hasan Manto and his family had to move from India to Pakistan soon after the partition. Ever since that, he had been haunted by the memories of the past. And the life in Pakistan was not very smooth, very comfortable. There also he had a series of painful experiences which led him to alcoholism and even to depression. All those had their effects on the writings of Saadat Hasan Manto. Almost all his short stories are woven around the agonies and sufferings caused by this partition in 1947. During the writing of this short story, Toba Singh, he got admitted into a lunatic asylum in Pakistan, and that was the consequence of the traumatic experiences he had after the partition. And Toba Singh can be called a finale of Manto's constant obsession with the throes of partition. We can definitely say the story has an autobiographical element in it. Maybe his stay in the lunatic asylum must have influenced him and must have helped him a lot in setting the background of the story in such a realistic manner. The partition in 1947, as I mentioned in the earlier presentation itself, it can be called the darkest event in the history of independent India. It left permanent scars in the minds of people both in India and in Pakistan. And Saadat Hasan Manto is clearly bringing about the sufferings of people, how the people have taken the news of partition. And he uses satire as a powerful element to bring about to the reader very clearly, vividly, how meaningless it is to divide people on the basis of some meaningless reasons such as communalism. He calls it madness. He focuses on the attitude, the indifference, the ignorance of the people in power, the thoughtlessness, the selfishness of our bureaucrats, people whom we think very intelligent, who have normal mindset, who have high thinking, who possess wisdom. Such people are actually, most of them, or even at least some of them, they have certain vested interests, certain hidden agenda, and it is on fulfillment of such hidden agenda and vested interest that they focus upon. In the process, they tend to ignore the mindset of the people. The life of common people doesn't matter there at all. That's what we have been witnessing in politics, in society, in almost every aspect of every realm of life. And that thoughtlessness, selfishness, indifference of the people who are in a position to take decisions which have an effect on the common man. They just tend to forget the after effects, the consequences their decisions have on the lives of simple, common people. This particular aspect is brought into light very clearly, vividly by the author Saadat Hasan Manto while dealing with the situation in a lunatic asylum when the authorities decided to send those abnormal people, those inmates of the asylum, the Hindus among them to Hindustan and Muslims among them to Pakistan. In the reactions of people, it is very evident how traumatic an experience it was to many of them. More about that as we proceed through the story. Now, think about this and please don't forget to mention these points when you prepare an introduction, when you are writing an essay or even a paragraph about the story and also about the author. Thank you. Have a nice day.